You keep opening CapCut and closing it without posting, and that pattern is not random. The timeline was right there, waiting. You sat with it for a few minutes, maybe moved a clip, then closed it. Same place you were yesterday. You tell yourself it is not the right time. But your hesitation is not about timing. Something far more uncomfortable is sitting underneath your freeze, and it has nothing to do with your preparation. Every week you stay here, you lose watch hours, feedback, and algorithm standing you will never recover. But there is a specific reason your freeze works the way it does, and this video names it. Here is what you have told yourself. The freeze is a signal. That the discomfort you feel every time you sit down to record is your mind giving you honest information, that you are not quite ready, that the lighting needs sorting, that you need one more pass at the script before it feels tight enough to say out loud. You have been treating that feeling like a logical verdict, as if your nervous system is a reliable editor and the paralysis is its professional opinion. It is not. The freeze is not feedback about your preparation. You have not said the thing you are actually afraid of yet. You have probably already opened Canva and spent real time on a thumbnail for a video that does not exist yet, because you are still in Canva instead of in front of the camera. And that is not procrastination. You keep the tab open. You adjust the font. You move the text box 2 pixels to the left. The video stays at 0 views because it stays at 0 seconds recorded. And you already know that. So the question is not whether you are ready. The question is what you are waiting for and whether that thing is ever going to show up. Here is what is actually happening inside your skull when you close the laptop. There is a psychological mechanism called Identity-Protective Cognition, and it was not designed to sabotage you. It was designed to keep you intact. Psychologist Dan Cahan at Yale Law School identified this mechanism across high-intelligence populations and found that higher cognitive ability actually increases its grip, not decreases it. Your brain has been holding the unrecorded video like a sealed envelope. Sealed, it could contain anything. It could contain proof that you are exceptional. The moment you press record and put something real into the world, that envelope opens, and whatever is inside is now the truth. So your brain does something precise and ruthless. It categorizes the act of recording not as a creative task, but as an existential threat. Not metaphorically, neurologically. The same system that fires when your physical survival is at risk fires when your idealized self-concept is about to be tested. What you feel as paralysis is not paralysis. It is a choice your unconscious is making on your behalf, without asking you, every single time. The freeze is not a signal that you are unprepared. It is evidence that you have built an identity around the possibility of being great, and that identity cannot survive contact with actual data, which means the problem was never your camera, your lighting, or your script. There are 3 specific tools that address exactly that, and all 3 come from peer-reviewed behavioral science, not productivity culture, not motivational frameworks, not generic advice about showing up. The first tool is called Minimum Viable Identity Decoupling, and it comes out of Peter Galwitzer's implementation intentions research at NYU. Work so robust it has been replicated across 94 independent studies. Here is what Galwitzer found. When you attach a behavior to a specific trigger using an if-then format, not a goal, not an outcome, just a conditional action, your brain stops evaluating the act against your identity. The 2006 meta-analysis by Galwitzer and Sheeran showed that this single structural change increases follow-through dramatically, and the reason is precise. The action is no longer asking the question, "Am I good enough?" It is just a thing that happens when a condition is met. The identity threat dissolves before it can fire. So here is what you do tonight. Write this sentence down, on paper or in your notes app, word for word. When I sit down after dinner, I will open CapCut, drop in any 30 seconds of footage I already have, and export it, not to publish, just to confirm the software works on my machine. That is the entire goal. Not a polished video, not a publishable clip, an exported file. You are not performing. You are confirming that a button works. Your brain cannot attach an identity verdict to that because there is nothing to evaluate. You have probably already opened Canva and spent an hour on thumbnail concepts for a video that does not exist yet. That is not procrastination. That is your brain finding the safest part of the process, the one where no one finds out anything true about you. The export solves the freeze. But knowing what to do with what you feel in the 10 seconds before you press that button, that is a different problem entirely. The second tool is called the feared self externalizing right, and it comes out of Ethan Kross's self-distancing research at the University of Michigan, published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology. General in 2014 and replicated consistently enough that the effect is not in question. What Kross found is precise. When you refer to yourself in the third person, your amygdala, the part of your brain treating this recording as an existential threat, loses its grip. The emotional reactivity drops. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that can actually reason about the future, comes back online. You are not calmer because you have talked yourself into anything. You are calmer because you have created just enough distance between you and the story to see it as a story rather than a verdict. Here is what you do. Open a blank note on your phone right now and write 3 sentences. Your name is about to record a video. Your name is scared because finding out the truth feels worse than imagining the possibility. Your name is going to press record anyway, not because they feel ready, but because the data matters more than the story. Read it once, close the note, open your camera. That is the whole instruction. You are not rewriting how you feel. You are stepping 1 inch outside yourself, so your brain stops treating a camera preview as proof that you might not be what you hoped. The freeze needs distance, not confidence. But there is one more layer, because even with the frame broken and the action named, there is still the moment your hand reaches for the camera and stalls. That piece has its own solution. The third tool is called the behavioral activation wedge, and it comes from research by Jacobson, Martel, and Demigian at the University of Washington, published in Clinical Psychology, Science and Practice in 2001, a study that quietly dismantled one of the most persistent assumptions in psychology. The assumption was this: motivation causes action. What the data showed instead is the reverse. Action causes the motivational state. Across multiple randomized controlled trials, behavioral activation produced effect sizes comparable to full cognitive restructuring, not by changing how people thought, but by changing what they did first. The feeling you are waiting for does not arrive before the move. It arrives because of it. So here is the task. Tonight, not tomorrow, identify the single physical action that lives 1 step before pressing record. For most people building a channel outside their 9 to 5, that action is pointing the camera at your face and hitting preview. That is all. No script, no lighting adjustment, no recording at all. Just sit in front of the camera in preview mode for 60 seconds, look at yourself, and close it. That is the complete task. Tomorrow the task is 5 seconds of footage and stopping. Nothing more. You are not preparing to feel ready. You are building the neural evidence that the machine is not dangerous. The person who does this, who does all 3 of these things, is not someone waiting for the right moment. They are someone who understood that the right moment is manufactured, not found. That is who you are now, not someone who might start, someone who already did. The one thing you do tonight is not record a video. It is open CapCut, drop in 30 seconds of anything, and export it. Not to publish, just to prove the machine runs. That single action breaks the identity lock that has kept you planning instead of moving. You watched this, which means you are no longer someone who doesn't understand why they're stuck. You are someone who does. You already know what the video is about. You have known for weeks. The problem was never preparation. It was that finishing something makes the outcome real, and real outcomes can disappoint you. Staying in planning keeps the dream intact. But here is what staying costs you. Every day inside the freeze is a day the algorithm gives to someone less talented who simply pressed record first. The window is open right now. Not tomorrow. Now.